Hello everybody on YouTube land. How's everybody doing? This will be part 3 of Burger King religion. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, false doctrines of Christianity is that the law is done away with. Christians quote Paul and even use Yeshua's own words to say that the Torah is done away with. Something is not right here. This is part of what Paul was referring to in 2 Thessalonians 2:11. And for this reason Elohim sends them a working of delusion for them to believe the falsehood. Because that is falsehood if you teach that Torah is done away with and you use Paul or Yeshua's words. If the Torah of Yahweh is not done away with, then there is no sin in the world. 1 John 3:4 says, everyone doing sin also does lawlessness, and sin is lawlessness. So you can define what sin is from the New Testament. The Torah defines what sin is. So let's see a few of Messiah Yeshua's words, Matthew 5:17 through 19. Do not think. Don't even think it. Don't let that thought cross your mind. That I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to complete. For truly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, not one jot or one tittle shall by no means pass from the Torah till all be done. Heaven and earth is not passed away. You can look outside and see that. Verse 19. Whoever then breaks one of the least of these commands, and teaches men so, shall be called least in the reign of the heavens. But whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the reign of the heavens. It's amazing that some people will use certain verses in Matthew chapter 5 to say, look, Yeshua's changing the Torah with this or that verse, right after he just said, do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. An example is verse 27 and 28. You heard that it was said of old, you do not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone looking at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Another example, verse 38 and 39. You heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the wicked. But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. With these two examples, Yeshua is not changing the Torah. He's just giving his take or expounding on the verses in the Torah. He's giving his understanding of what he thought those scriptures mean. Deuteronomy 4:2. Do not add to the word which I command you, and do not take away from it, so as to guard the commands of Yahweh your Elohim which I am commanding you. If Yeshua was adding to or taking away from the Torah in Matthew 5, he will be breaking this command and therefore not be a perfect sacrifice for sin. I want to read a couple excerpts from the Aramaic English New Testament about the issue of fulfilling and destroying of the Torah. I'll be reading from the 18 New Testament misconceptions section. Number 1, I'm reading from the fulfilling the Torah section. Do not think that I have come to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I tell you I have not come to destroy, but to fulfill. It is an absolute impossibility for destroying and fulfilling Torah to be or to mean the same thing. Here the text is putting them in opposition to one another. So if it isn't A, but it is B, then B cannot be the same thing as A. As basic as this is, mainstream Christianity has levied a false assertion that fulfilling the Torah means that it is no longer necessary, i.e. destroyed. The Aramaic word used for fulfill is amala, A-M-A-L-A, derived from the root mela, M-E-L-A, which means to complete. This completion is not one that results in destruction, but better understanding of the promises made. Now I'm going to read out of section 2, destroying the Torah. While keeping or vindicating Torah is the true meaning of fulfill, let's also look at the word destroy. Destroying the Torah is an equivalent to the English phrase to break the law, meaning that the broken law is not then made null and void by the criminal who went against it. But for example, if you are caught speeding, it does not mean that there's no longer any speed limits on that roadway. Yeshua did not do away with or change the Torah while he was alive, nor was it done away with or changed when he died. When Yahweh gives the command, it lasts forever. Can you get our main? Malachi 3:6. For I am Yahweh, I shall not change, and you, O sons of Jacob, shall not come to an end. Psalms 89:34. I shall not profane my covenant, neither would I change what has gone out from my lips. Yahweh does not change. His covenants last forever. Yeshua did not do away with the Torah, neither does Paul's words or his writings. If you show most Christians verses that prove the Torah is not done away with, they will quickly say, but Paul said. You need to take them to Peter's warning about Paul and his writings in 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 14 through 17. Verse 14. So then, beloved ones, looking forward to this, do your utmost to be found by him in peace, spotless and blameless, and reckon the patience of our Master as deliverance, as also our beloved brother Shaul wrote to you according to the wisdom given to him, as also in all his letters, speaking in them concerning these matters, in which some are hard to understand, which those who are untaught and unstable twist to their own destruction, as they do also the other scriptures. You then, beloved ones, being forewarned, watch, lest you also fall from your own steadfastness, being led away with the delusion of the lawless. Some of Paul's writings are hard to understand. If you ever read his writings, you will definitely will agree with that statement. I believe Paul had been a Torah observant man when he was alive. Christians use scriptures from Galatians and Romans to say the Torah is done away with, but they overlook some of the writings about Paul in Acts 24:10 through 14. And when the governor had motioned him to speak, Shaul answered, knowing that for many years you have been a judge of this nation, I gladly defend myself, seeing you are able to know that it is not more than 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem to worship, and they neither found me in the set-apart place disputing with anyone, nor stirring up the crowd, either in the congregations or in the city. Nor are they able to prove the charges of which they now accuse me. And this I confess to you, that according to the way which they call a sect, so I worship the Elohim of my fathers, believing all that has been written in the Torah and the prophets. That's worth repeating. So I worship the Elohim of my fathers, believing all that had been written in the Torah and in the prophets. What about Acts 21, verses 18 through 24? And on the following day, Shaul went in with us to Jacob, and all the elders came. And having greeted them, he was relating one by one what Elohim had done among the Gentiles through his service. And when they heard it, they praised the master. And they said to him, you see, brother, how many thousands of Yehudim there are who have believed, and all that are ardent for the Torah. Ardent for the Torah. And they have been informed about you that you teach all the Yehudim who are among the Gentiles to forsake Moshe, saying not to circumcise the children, nor to walk according to the practices. What then is it? They shall certainly hear that you have come. So do this, what we say to you. We have 4 men who have taken a vow. Here's the key verse. Take them and be cleansed with them and pay their expenses, so that they shave their heads. And all shall know that what they have been informed about you is not so, but that you yourself also walk orderly, keeping the Torah. These guys are talking about Paul here. Let me read that again. But that you yourself also walk orderly, keeping the Torah. You can't get more plain than that. In Acts 24, Paul said he believes all that has been written in the Torah and the prophets. In chapter 21, he says some believers who already keep Torah to walk orderly, keeping the Torah. If Paul taught that the Torah is done away with, this would have been a golden opportunity to say that. but he told them to keep the Torah. Proverbs 28:9. He who turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. That's a pretty stout verse. This is a very problematic verse for anyone who is a believer in the scriptures and doesn't keep the Torah, the eternal instructions from Yahweh. I've been on Pal Talk, and one man had the audacity to say, "The law doesn't apply to me. I don't have to do it." Isaiah 30:8-11. And go, write it before them on a tablet, and inscribe it on a scroll, that it is for a latter day a witness forever, that this, a rebellious people, lying children who refuse to hear the Torah of Yahweh, who say to the seers, do not see, and to the prophets, do not prophesy to us what is right. Speak to us what is smooth. Prophesy deceits. Turn aside from the way, swerve from the path, cause the set apart one of Yisrael to cease from before us. The people wanted their ears tickled. They didn't want to hear the truth. They didn't want to hear the Torah. 2 Timothy 4:3-4. For there shall be a time when they shall not bear sound teaching, but according to their own desires they shall heap up for themselves teachers tickling the ear, just like in Isaiah. And they shall indeed turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to myths. The man on Pal Talk probably fits into this category, along with a lot of other people who believe in the scriptures but want to take the path of least resistance, do the least that they have to do. Yahweh never said living for him will be a cakewalk. Look at the life of Joseph. Did he have it easy? No way, Jose. He was sold into slavery by his brothers, then falsely imprisoned, and he didn't turn his back on Yahweh. And look where he ended up. It's very easy for us to praise Yahweh when times are good and turn our back on him when times get rough. Honoring Torah in this day and time is not popular in the world's eyes. But we don't live to please the world. We live to please Yahweh. I cannot cover all the false doctrines taught in Christianity in this video series. It would take me a while. I just covered a few. So let me read one more scripture. This is Messiah's words. Matthew 7:13-23. Enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter in through it. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life, the Torah, and there are few who find it. But beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves. By their fruits you shall know them. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. A good tree is unable to yield wicked fruit, and a rotten tree to yield good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then, by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens, the ones that keep Torah. Follow Yahshua's example. Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness, or Torahlessness. Not all believers are going to be shown favor on Judgment Day. I'm sure that there are plenty watching this video that have come out of Christianity. Yahweh loved us enough to take the blinders off our eyes and reveal the truth to us and draw us near to him by his Ruach HaKodesh, or set-apart spirit. I pray the same thing for our brothers and sisters in Christianity that Yahweh is calling out. Hopefully this was a help to those that are coming out of Babylon that want to walk in Torah and follow Yahshua's example. Shalom.